afternoon. Happy Wow Wednesday day to you ladies here in the Healthy Moms of Faith group. I am Alicia. I'm the founder of this group. Welcome, welcome. I hope we are live in the group. If you are here, say hello in the comments. Put hashtag live if you're watching this live, if we're catching it now, or put hashtag replay. Let me know if you're watching it later. So again, if you're hopping on, let me know if you can hear me always. I just want to make sure my audio is working. I'm Alicia. I'm the founder of this group, the Healthy Moms of Faith. I'm really excited. If you are someone who you feel like losing weight is really hard because you feel restricted by food, that's what we're going to be talking about today in this group. So this training will be for you. Really excited to bring you this training today. Put secret in the comments if this excites you. If this is something you struggle with, it's not going to be a secret anymore. You may have heard me talk about this a little bit in some of my other trainings, but I'm really going to disclose one of my protocols that really helps my ladies get healthier, lose weight, and all of that. So we're going to be talking about that today. If you are a mom, if you're in this group, if you're a mom and you're a follower of Christ and you're looking to understand more about your purpose, your worth, and your value that God has designed for you, if that's you and you're in this group, awesome, welcome to you. This group is for you. As well as if you are someone who you're looking to learn how to find ways and commit to learning how to practice long-term ways of losing weight, belly fat, or just getting healthier, then you are in the right spot. If you are one of those two people, you're in the right spot. This group is for you. I'm really excited. Hey Kim, hey Katie, hey Tori. Good to see you guys. Kim says she's watching live. Perfect. I am so excited to be in this group. I'm really excited. It's the new year, right? And my wheels have been turning. We have a lot of ladies in this group, and so I want to clarify some things here today for you for this first training of the year, but also just kind of give you an understanding. So again, if you are a mom and you're a follower of Christ, you want to build a deeper relationship with God, this place is for you. If you are someone who you desire to understand your worth and your value and who God has designed you to be, then you're in the right spot. And as well as that, if you are here and you are wanting to learn and you want to commit, that's a word sometimes we kind of struggle with, right? Committing to making some changes. And you're willing to learn and you're willing to do that, and you want to learn how to do that to help yourself have a deeper relationship with the Lord as well as lose weight and get healthier, then you're in the right spot. I'm so excited you're here. I designed this group. I wanted to design this group to help us understand how we can get healthier in spirit, soul, and body. And so our spiritual health and our physical health are very, very related. And so that's why we're here. I want you guys to understand that we're supposed to thrive in life. God has designed us to thrive in life, not just survive. And so whether you've been disappointed by life, maybe you've been abused, maybe you've just made some not so great choices in life and things are just hard and you feel like you're striving a lot, that is why this group is here, so that we can understand spiritually and physically how we can move forward. So I just want to clarify that, let you guys know. Hey Beth, good to see you. Thanks for saying hello. Great to see a bunch of ladies here. So I wanted to clarify that here before we get going and talking about our topic today, as well as if you're watching this later on YouTube, welcome to you ladies. Come join us in the Healthy Moms of Faith group. I have a lot more to offer in this group. Free resources, free ways to make a commitment to change the way that we live so that we can become healthier. So come join us. It's on facebook.com/groups/Healthy Moms of Faith. Come join us. So all of that to say, let's get going on our topic. The reason why we're here in this group is we want to find ways, and I'm always listening. This is obviously why I created this group, because I want to figure out what are the things that are holding us back. Why are we feeling like we're not able to move forward in our health journey? What are the things that are getting in our way? And so this topic that we're talking about today is so important, and it's one I hear all the time. This is something I have struggled with as well. So I'm excited to share some secrets with you today about how we can not feel restricted when it comes to food. Because again, God designed food for fuel. God designed food. We need it, right? And so I'm going to share a little bit more about that today. Really quickly, if you are here, I have just a couple extra announcements today that I don't normally have, so hang on just a second. But because it's the new year, I wanted to just share a few things about how this group is going to change. I really want to work on the culture of this group, and so I'm going to be putting some things into place to really help work with you ladies. If you're here, again, if you're committed to making changes, awesome. As well as, if you're here and you're just an observer, that's okay too. But if you're not getting any value from this group, then please find a place where you can get value out of that community as well. You're not tied to this group, and I'm not saying you have to leave, but at the same time, we're going to be changing the culture of this group this next year, and I want you to understand, if you're here and you're serious about wanting to lose weight, we've got some things coming that are going to be helping with that. So I want to share those things with you just really, really quickly. So hang tight for just a second, and then we'll get into our topic. But the culture is going to change in this group over the next year. I want you to know that. I am committed to figuring out more so ways to help you ladies, whether that's some more challenges here in this group. We're getting healthier spiritually too. So I want to see us doing a lot more devotionals and being in the Word together. So that's one thing I have planned. Also, in order to do some of these things, I am limited on time, right? As we all are as moms. And so I'm going to actually cut back the amount of classes that I do every week. So I will be here, and we're changing things up a little bit. We're going to be calling our Wow Wednesdays a Wow Wednesday Masterclass. So again, if you're really committed, you're wanting to make some changes, these master classes, I'm going to take a little bit more time and go into some more details of how we can get healthier. And so if you're committed to that, then be here. But we're going to be doing it every other week now instead of every week. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that. As well as I want to offer a few more private classes. Because again, if you're committed, you're here and you're wanting to get healthier in spirit, soul, and body, you want to know how to do that, we got to commit to making some time, making some space in our world in order to do that. And that is why I'm here, and that's what I want to help you with. So I just wanted to let you know that this group is going to change a little bit. I'm going to be asking for a lot more participation, because if you're here again and you want to make changes, then let's do something about it. Let's just not be a bystander. Let's actually do something about it. And that's what I want to commit to you. I want to provide for you. Does that sound good? Everybody here, is that cool? Participation is awesome. If that's something you need help with, raise your hand in the comments and let me know. Yeah, I'm committed. I'm ready to make some changes. I need to make some changes to do that better. Awesome. Okay. All of the announcements done. Sorry, this is an extra long introduction today. So, okay, let's get into our topic. So the question is, how do we not feel restricted when it comes to food? Now, I want to kind of jog your brain today. And sometimes we think about things from one perspective, and we need to kind of shift our perspective, right? Sometimes the changes that need to happen up here, okay? So in order for that to happen, I want to rephrase that question, because a lot of the times what happens, and let me know if you're here, when it comes to food, when I say food and I say restricted, what types of food does your brain go to first? Let me know in the comments. What's the first thing that when you hear the word diet or going on changing your nutrition, what are you kind of like, ooh, how do you feel? Because what's the thing for you that you're like, oh, that means I have to give up that? Well, I'm curious, what is that? That says processed foods. Yeah, like maybe the quicker meal things that you can buy at the store. What else? No sweets and Cokes. Yeah, right. So sugar, right? Sugar is where my brain goes for the first thing when someone says, oh, it's time to go on a diet, or, oh, I need to change my nutrition. I think, oh, that means I can't have cookies every day, right? And so if that is you feel restricted when it comes to nutrition. Katie says no more bread or pasta, right? This is the culture that we have been struggling with, right, when it comes to our health. So instead of asking, how do we not feel restricted? Let's ask this question a different way. How do we not feel restricted when we have food cravings, right? When we have food cravings. Yeah, Sarah says baked goods, drinks, sweets, those kinds of things. How do we do better nutrition and not feel restricted, right? Kim says junk, processed food. Right. Awesome. All of those things, right? So then let's ask it a different way, right? We're jogging our brain. We're thinking about things from different perspectives. Well, and then the next question you could ask is, well, why do I feel restricted? Right? Why do I feel restricted? So I have these different food cravings, right? Sweets, breads, processed foods, all of these things. Why do I feel restricted? And I want us to think a little bit here for a second. Think back when you were a kid, for instance. And do you remember a time where your parents, whatever it was, maybe you were doing something and your parents were like, no, you can't have that. No, you can't do that. And how did that make you feel? How did that make you feel when you were a child, right? Something was going on. You were doing an activity. Let's say you were playing with a toy and your parents were like, okay, it's time to move on. We need to do something else. I need to take that toy. No, you can't have that toy anymore. What's your first reaction? How does that make you feel? Like you still wanted it, right? Most of us would say that. Now, I am that child. I'm the firstborn, and so I'm the good kid, if you will, where I may have not thrown a fit. I just would have been maybe like a little grumpy about it, but I wouldn't have, thrown a few. I'm sure I did, though, when I was a toddler. But anyways, all of that to say, just the initial feelings we have with these things, when someone says no, we're like, wait, I want that though, right? And so I want you to think about this, this idea of food cravings or things that we want when it comes to nutrition, and think about it from that perspective. You know that it's there, right? You know that that toy is there, and you know that you like that toy and you want to spend more time with that toy, right? You know about it and you like it, right? Have you guys seen the movie Cinderella? Not the Disney one. Well, I don't know if the people one, the real people one. Have you guys seen that? Where it's one of the stepsisters, and they're going through this town, and she has chocolate for the first time, and she like puts it on her tongue, and she like savors the moment like she'd never had chocolate before, and she was like, it was like so good. Have you guys seen that movie? Yeah, Katie says disappointed or upset, right? So that thinking about if you had a toy or something and then your parents took that away. The only reason, here's the key, it's the same thing with food, right? We have this understanding now that there's all these amazing foods out there. We can make a plethora of ways to eat certain things and enjoy certain foods and all these things. So we know this now, right? We're not naive. And we know we like those things, right? So we tend to go towards those things that we like. So think about this. Because your body knows, because your taste buds know that it's out there, you crave it, right? And here's the first tip that you may have heard before, maybe not. Your body craves what you feed it. Your body craves what it knows. Your brain is smart. It's figured out, I know that there's chocolate out there now, and I know that I like it, right? So anytime we feed our body something, whether it's new, whether it's old, our body is aware now. And so your body's going to crave what it likes. Your body's going to ask for what it likes. It's a brain thing, right? It's not just a taste thing. Our brain is very, very smart. And so think about that for just a second. And so your body is going to thrive off of the food that you feed it, right? That's just how your brain works. That's how your body works. Now, our body is designed to have certain types of food to produce the energy. Remember, we've talked about food is fuel, right? Food is fuel. Food is for fuel. And so we have to go back. We have to remind ourselves that's what food is for. That's why we need it. And so we have to retrain our brain. Okay? So I know that might seem a little overwhelming, but does that make sense? Let me know in the comments. Drew Barrymore. Yeah. Oh, that's Ever After. That's right, Katie. Yes. I was trying to think of that movie. Awesome. I'm glad you reminded me. Yes, that's the one where she has that piece of chocolate and it's like amazing. Anyway, so let me know if this makes sense to where we have to learn that food is fuel. We have to fuel our body with the better nutrients so that your body won't feel restricted because you won't crave it as much, right? That's the key. This is that secret, is that your brain is really smart. It knows that there's chocolate out there and it knows that it likes chocolate. And so now what do? Well, now I crave chocolate. So how do we fix that? We have to retrain our brain. We have to fuel our body with proper nutrients the way our body is designed in order to teach it to not feel as restricted. Now I'm going to get into my second point on this here in just a second. But this first secret, this first idea is that we have to remember we only feel restricted because we know it's there, right? And we can't tell our brain that it's not there anymore. But we can retrain our brain on the proper nutrients that our body does need. So here's the thing though. This doesn't happen overnight, right? I asked you guys in the group, when it comes to sugar, what are the things that you struggle with? What are your questions? The two main things that you guys mentioned, those of you who commented on that post, was drinks and sugars, chocolate. Those are the two things. Drinks tend to have tons of sugar. I think it was Leah who posted in the group today some pictures. Those were awesome of like the foods that we normally pull off the shelf and look at how much sugar they have in them, right? How crazy is that? And so this is the thing. We have to be educated definitely on what we're putting in our body. How much sugar are we putting in our body, right? But specifically when it comes to this, when you understand that you have been fueling your body sugar, it's going to crave sugar because you're just training your brain. You're teaching your brain how to process this fuel, the type of fuel it is, whatever it is you're putting in your body. And so now if you don't have that, your body feels restricted. Is this making sense? Yeah, Beth says makes sense. Great reminder. Awesome. So I wanted to share some ideas here for you. I'm about ready to start my 21-day program, and I'm going to share that in just a second. But I think some of you, if you've done this in the group too, let me know. Have any of you done my 3-day reset? It's a free program. Anybody can do it. I know Katie has. She's done it a few times. But I wanted to share this with you because this is a testament to how we can change this. Because I've had a lot of people do the 3-day reset. Basically what the 3-day reset does is it kind of cleans out your gut. Everything that we eat obviously goes through our gut. Everything that we eat goes through our bloodstream through our gut, right? So then it goes to our brain. It feeds all of our body parts, right, essentially. And so when you clean out your gut, when you clean out your nutrition and you change it and you put the right nutrients in, a lot of ladies that have done the 3-day reset, they've experienced way less cravings in just 3 days, right? It's only 3 days, but you can do a whole lot with cleaning out your gut in 3 days, and reset your body, reset your brain, so that your body realizes, oh, I don't need sugar as much, right? Now this is a process, right? And I'm going to get into how do we do this? How do we figure this out? What's the second secret here for this topic today? But yeah, Katie says yes, I have. Yeah. And so, have you ever experienced this? Have you ever worked on? I'm sure a lot of us have. A lot of you have, where you've taken some time, you have cleaned up your nutrition a little bit, and you did experience less cravings, or you did experience less bread cravings or drink cravings or whatever it is, even if it was a short period of time. Does anybody remember that? Has anybody ever experienced that? I know I have. And so this is what I'm talking about. It's retraining your brain because you know it's there. And because you know it's there and you know you like it, you want it. That's why you feel restricted. So again, hopefully that makes sense. If you ever experienced this, if you have cravings, which a lot of you said what your cravings were, put cravings in the comments if you're ready to work on how to fix this. How do we fix this feeling restricted? Put cravings in the comments. So the second thing then is another question. Think about this. How do we fix these cravings? I've already mentioned kind of what needs to happen. We need to be able to replace the nutrition that we're putting in. We need to retrain our brain. We're not naive anymore, though, so we know about these foods. So how do we do this, right? I wanted you guys to think about, and I was trying to think of like what's a good example, and I'm like, well, we're all moms here, right? We all have, most of us, I believe, most of us have children, and we've at least maybe some of you haven't experienced this yet, but those of you who have, older kids or maybe toddlers, you have experienced this. Excuse me. So, babies, they're born, right? And what do we feed them when they're first born, right? Breast milk, formula if you need to. And so here's my question. How long does it take for a baby to grow up and fully be on food instead of milk? Approximately, like completely. Everybody's a little bit different, right? I know they say we can usually start doing like some things when they're 4 months? So 4 months old, you can do like cereal. So it takes probably almost a year. 16, let's see, a year is 12 months, maybe 15 months. Yeah, roughly 12 months is what Katie says. Right. So this is the thing. What is that process that the baby goes through when it goes from milk to food? Does it go completely over to food all at once? All at the same time? No. Right? That would be disastrous. Why do we wean babies off milk? Think about that process. Now, we're adults, right? Our systems are a little bit different. They're not as delicate as a baby's, but our bodies are made the same as it was when we were a baby as it is now. Food is still processed the same, okay? It's just now our brain knows there's different types of food as options, okay? So if we're thinking about working on getting rid of the cravings so we don't feel restricted, so we retrain our brain to understand that there are better nutritious things out there for us, what do we need to do? And I've thought about this a lot, and I did this kind of not knowingly when I first decided to wean myself off of some sugar, just specifically for my coffee. Okay, so I really didn't like coffee until I figured out, I can put a ton of sugar in it, right? And scooters. I figured out scooters. I worked at a hair salon, and there was a scooters right across the way, and I would go get an iced coffee, and it was so good, and I would do that all the time. And then as I got healthier and I realized, my nutrition probably needs to change, I realized how much sugar I was actually drinking in that thing. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna work on this. And I don't know what happened in my brain, but as I've thought about this over time, what I did was the exact same process that a baby goes through. And, in that process, now I can drink coffee black now if I have to. I still don't prefer it that way. I love those posts that people put up. What's your coffee look like? Is it, the numbers, how much creamer does it have? But, so I can drink it black if I need to now. But I do prefer it with some flavor, right? But what I did was I worked myself back. I didn't do it all at one time. Right. Or, excuse me, why? Because I felt restricted, right? I felt like, oh, that means I can't have it ever. Now, I'm not saying, there's one thing I want to say here. If you, if the Lord has told you that this would be a different thing, if the Lord has told you that you need to get off sugar completely, all the way, 100%, or two, if your body specifically doesn't thrive very well, you have inflammation, your doctor has said, blah, 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 I still feel like this method that I teach will help. You might just need to do it in a faster process. I feel like there are still ways to incorporate some of these things that we still like, but again, it's putting in the right things and taking out the not so great things, right? So if your body is telling you you need to be off sugar, if your doctor's telling you need to be off sugar, if the Lord is telling you need to take a break from sugar, then you need to do that, okay? But I have found the most effective way to not feeling restricted as we retrain our brain is to wean ourselves off, right? Why do I say that? Because our bodies are used to it. Our bodies are used to what we put in. And so I wanted to share, I think Tori was here earlier. If you're still here, Tori, let me know. She shared with me she had tried to do an elimination diet. I talked to her the other day on the phone, and her body just went haywire, right? I don't remember exact situation, but it was not good, right? And so if we change too many things up with our body at the same time as adults now, and it's the same with kids, right? If you didn't introduce one food source at a time, you wouldn't know, is your kid allergic to oatmeal? Is your kid allergic to carrots? You know, like you had to wait, was it like a week? You know, feed them cereal for a week, and then you could try certain things at certain periods of time, because you needed to teach your child's body, this is an okay source of energy, this is an okay source of fuel, but everybody's body is a little bit different, and it's so crazy now how many things our kids are allergic to. It's just nuts. But we did that in a slow way so that if we knew our child's body reacted to something, oh, that food source was not a great food source for that kid, right? It's the same for our bodies. It's just our bodies are older now and used to a lot more things, but we can retrain it. Okay, again, we can retrain our brain. So, and what would be some of the responses that, you know, a child would have if, you know, a food source didn't really work for them? I can think of, they have allergies, they get a diaper rash, maybe they're more colicky, they don't sleep as well. Like I think about dairy sources. There's a lot of kids out there who have dairy issues or allergies. So the process is the same. It's just in the reverse for us as adults. Does this make sense? What do you guys think? Oh yeah, Tori says she's here. Tori, if you're still here too, what were some of the reactions, if you would share that with us in the comments, when you did your elimination diet? Because I don't remember exactly, because you did it pretty fast, right? And I know you told me about that. But just for example, you know, and everybody's body is a little bit different, right? There's a lot of factors sometimes. So, you know, that's why I'm a huge proponent of not doing quick fix things. Again, I'm not opposed to supplements, things that we need to supplement our nutrition. But a lot of these programs out there that help you design or designed to help you lose weight really fast. You want to know why you put that weight on back so fast? Because your body isn't ready. Your body doesn't know. Your brain hasn't figured it out. And so everybody's body is just a little bit different. Okay? So again, that concept of weaning ourselves off of sugar, weaning ourselves off of whatever it is, if it's processed foods, the things we know that are just not as nutritious. Again, I've shared with you my 3 hacks, the 3 nutrition things that I think are vital no matter what diet or nutrition plan you're looking at. Your water, your veggies, and your protein. Those are the first 3 things I truly believe everybody needs to master in order to get healthier or lose weight, whatever your health goal is. You have to have those as foundations. Okay, and so we have to practice that though, right? We have to wean out the things that we're craving, feeling restricted if we can't have, and we have to put things in, but we need to do it in a slower process because our body just has to have time to adjust. Does this make sense? If this makes sense, put wean in the comments and let me know. This is why I have chosen one. There's a multitude of reasons. There's two main ones why, I have chosen to help people understand this, specifically moms, believers. I really want us to have this foundation in that we don't have to feel restricted and we don't necessarily have to completely get rid of those treats that we like, right? We just have to retrain our brain that these things are not the best for us, right? What's best for us are the water, the veggies, and the protein, and of course, good carbs and good fats. That's how our body's designed. That's why we need to start getting an understanding. We need to get education on what food is and how food is designed for fuel. So that's one of the reasons why I've chosen to use this method. I've also chosen to use this method because what I find, this is really crazy, when I started this group over a year ago and I started doing research on why do we struggle with sugar cravings, why do we have a lot of these problems, I found a similarity. And that is, again, why this group, I created this group, because there's sometimes this underlying lie that we believe in our lives about who we are. And so we tend to go towards these cravings or food for comfort. Now, it can be other things too, because there's something we're believing about ourselves that's not true, right? We've been abused. We've made some poor choices in life. We're just disappointed with the way life has turned out. And we have let that in turn tell us who we are instead of God's word, instead of who God says we are. And so we're broken, right? I think this is the real issue, is that we're broken. And that's why we can try weaning, we can try all these different things, you can try all the diets out there, but if you don't fix how you see yourself, especially for believers, then the motivation to move towards anything in our health journey is just not going to be there. And it's going to be really hard, right? If you've ever experienced this, maybe you've been on a health journey for a long time, maybe you've been trying to lose weight for a long time, and you just don't like who you are because of whatever has happened in your life. That has to be the number one thing that we fix. And if that's you, if you struggle with, not liking who you are, just put me in the comments and say, yeah, I don't always like who I am because of what's happened to me in the past. Just let me know. I have some more trainings for you I'd like you to watch. But getting back onto what we're talking about, again, I just wanted to share that because that's why I've chosen to use this weaning method, because it's really hard when you are looking at yourself and you're like, I don't like myself very much. It's really hard to not self-sabotage with food. And when you take it away, right away, you feel restricted. You no longer have this thing, and I'm not saying you should use food as a vice, but I'm also saying that sometimes in this process, that's why there's grace. God gives us grace to figure these things out, right? We're covered by the blood of Jesus, but we got to work on making our soul better, right? And that's what Jesus wants for us. That's what God wants for us. So it takes time. When you first become a believer, do we all of a sudden change and we have all of God's character? No, right? It's the same process. God lovingly moves us towards his word, right? So I think that's one of the reasons why God has led me to using this method, why it works so well, I think, for believers, and especially if you feel like you're broken, because it gives us space to grow in our mind and who we are in Christ, and it gives us space to learn and educate ourselves on food as fuel. Okay? So I hope that's making sense. Sarah says wean. Beth had to go. No problem. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I want to make sure that as I bring these master classes to you again, they're going to be coming every other week now. I'm going to be taking some extra time to really do some deep diving into our group. So please, 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 when you're struggling with something, please put up a post, or if you're ready to make a commitment to figuring out the depths of what is wrong and why you haven't moved forward. That's why this group is here. We want to come around you as a community. So please share that in the group. Please invite your friends to this group, that people who are struggling with these things, if you know that they've had a broken past, they've been abused, they've struggled with food cravings, and that's how they try to cope with it in life, and they struggle with weight. That is what this group is for. I want us to understand how to move forward spiritually, how to understand who we are in Christ, how to gain a foundation on that so we can stand on it, and to give you education and provide you value here in this group so that we can actually move forward. And so if you're committed to that, if you know people who would be committed to that, please invite them to this group as well. All right. So just again, recapping here real quick is how do we not feel restricted with nutrition, right? First thing is we got to wean ourselves off, because our brain is used to what we have, what we've put in. And so we need to slowly, methodically work on weaning out the not so great things, being educated on the better nutrition, and teaching our brain, teaching our body how to thrive off the right types of fuel. Okay, and again, if you do this and you do it in a slow, methodical way, I promise you will feel less and less restricted. And again, it's not that you can't have some. It was just Christmas time. It was just New Year's time. I had plenty of cookies. I had plenty of chocolates. I didn't gain any weight because I continued to put in the correct things. And I know other ladies, I have clients of mine too, who they didn't gain any weight. They didn't feel restricted. They still had a few things. Now do we have to kind of back off of some of those things and kind of wean ourselves off. Again, I highly recommend my 3-day reset, just for a quick understanding. Again, it's not going to fix everything, but it's going to give you a quick picture of what does that look like. So if you want my 3-day reset, it's free. I can send it to you. Put 3-day reset in the comments. I'm going to try to do it as a group here a few more times this year too, so you guys can experience that. But the more that you understand and you put in these right things, the better things, our brain will learn. And you can retrain your brain, okay? And you won't crave it as much. So, and again, my 3-day reset is also going to be something you'll get to experience in my 21-day program. My 21-day program, again, it's a short program, but what the program itself will do is, again, it's going to help. We're going to take 21 days, and I'm going to help you learn how to wean off some of these things, and I'm going to help you learn how to put in those 3 things: the water, the veggies, and the protein. Right? Those, again, they have to be super, super foundational. And so we're going to start that process. And I'm going to give you some help with that, as well as, I know time is of essence, right? We struggle with time. And so I've created recipes to help you do those 3 things in the 21-day program. So today is the last day to sign up for that. If you wanted to do that, let me know in the comments. Put 21-day program. I'll reach out to you. But it will start this Friday, so I'm super excited. I know Tori's going to be there, so super excited. But again, I want to provide you ladies with value here in this group. I am a health coach. I do offer services that are paid, but I really do want to take this group. God has shown me that this group is also a ministry for me. And so while this group is, hopefully a place I will find people who maybe need some help, and I found that there's places in my life too where sometimes the commitment needs to be put in a little cash to the words, right? And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just, I need someone to help me go in the right direction, and I get that. But we should make space in our life. We should make space in our budget to get healthier, because God has called all of us to some pretty awesome things, kingdom work that we need to be doing. I'm pretty sure we all know that if things are not getting great in the world, right? Things are not going to get better in the world. Jesus is coming back. We need to be about the Lord's business. We need to be about the Father's business. And we have to be healthy in spirit, soul, and body. And that might take some time for some of us, right? So whether you can do something that's paid or you can't, I want you to be here and I want you to commit to making changes. If you can't afford to work with me right now, that's okay. But if you're committed to making changes, I want to help you do that in this group as well. Okay? So put wean in the comments if you want my details for the 21-day program. That's really all I have for today. In a couple weeks, I'm super excited to share another lady's story who worked with me. She's had some great successes on working through this weaning process. She's been practicing it since, I'm not sure when we first started working together. I think it's been over 6 months. But anyways, we're going to share her story. So I want to share that with you. I want to encourage you ladies, please put up any post that you have a question about. Please invite your friends to this group. I really just want to help you guys be encouraged and to get the right education, the better education on how to do this long term. No quick fixes, okay? All right. Sarah says, I have used food for comfort. Yeah, a lot of us have. A lot of us, I have struggled with this too. I still struggle with it sometimes, but it doesn't have to overtake our life. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, I promise. With the Lord's help, we can do a lot of things, right? Okay, well, you guys have a great day. I will talk to you guys soon. If you have any questions, put them in the comments or put up a post. See you guys later. Bye.